Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much Tohloo has been practicing Plague Knight. I know he's been practicing Spectre Knight to do at marathon runs, but he is an extremely good player. If he does get a really good run, you could see a possible world record on this stream, but I would not get hopes too high for that because that would require an insanely good run from Tohloo.
Also, it looks like we are getting started here, so welcome to the Plague Knight 90% tournament. I'm Piggles for Nichols.
And I am Pika Pete.
So the first thing you're gonna notice about Plague Knight is he jumps around a lot. That's your main mode of mobility in this game. Making sure you jump in the right rhythm, doing your bomb bursts and stuff. A big technique that taking an early death on planes. One big thing that Plague Runners need to learn how to do is buffer their bomb bursts. So when you charge a bomb burst, which gets you like a triple jump, you can hold, like once you do a bomb burst, you can hold down the button to burst again, and that'll let you burst again without letting out a bomb.
And here on Tohloo's screen, we'll be seeing the first major glitch and only major glitch of the run. That was the screen wrap skip. Skips about 1.5 rooms, saves a couple seconds. Basically just done by bursting higher than you're intended to on the screen wrap transition and going somewhere you're not supposed to. So Puppyfan did take an unfortunate death, but is also 14 seconds behind in the timing anyway. So I assume that will be synced up soon, but Puppyfan is still behind by quite a bit due to that early death.
There's still room to catch up though. Plague is a really slippery character. Deaths are kind of like, it's kind of hard to get a no-death run.
Oh yeah, Plague Knight can die at any point in time. Puppyfan having a little bit of trouble with the screen wrap. Tohloo in the village stage, which is just a short little, mostly story purposes stage, kind of just setting up the premise of Plague of Shadows. He did get that burst in the village. That's pretty impressive.
Puppyfan is fighting Black Knight. We fight him 3 times because what? She got the stun block right there, which is pretty hard to get, but she did it okay. Black Knight's kind of a weird fight. Tohloo's on Primarch Keep right now. It's one of the early stages, so it's not super complicated. Rats can be a little bit weird. They're RNG whether they stop or go. So that's pretty much the only thing that's kind of tricky in this stage. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the rats can definitely get in your way in a couple rooms. And there's one major kind of, it's pretty easy to do, but it is a relatively impressive trick if you don't run this game. It's the damage boost at the end of the books room off of one of the rats, and sometimes if you're not paying attention, that rat can just move out of the way and totally juke you out, and then you just fall right to your death. It's pretty funny. So nice damage boost off of that rat from Tohloo. And here he is entering the book room. Nails the damage boost as I expected.
Tohloo is coming up on the boss of Primarch Keep, King Knight. Again, not a super complicated boss. You just kind of want to juke him into the corner and then lob a bunch of bombs on him. Just kind of like basically you control his movements.
Yeah, King Knight responds based on your position and how much damage he's taken, so he can be entirely manipulated. And Tohloo getting a pretty good fight.
Another thing to mention, puppyfan's using a color code. That's why Plague Knight's black and white and not blue and green. She used a different one last time for her last match.
Oh yeah, Puppyfan is not using a different armor. The colors really aesthetic. They're just for speedrunners. I like to use the blue and light one, the blue and light blue one.
So Tohloo is on Lich Shard right now. It's the spooky, scary level. Features of this level include frogs, RNG frogs. That they're kind of difficult to handle. There's also dark rooms where you can't really see anything, but if you've run this game before, they're usually not too bad since it's just a matter of muscle memory. But the one at the end is kind of scary.
Yeah, at a certain point when you're running this game, you just kind of have the layout of the dark room memorized anyway. So even if something bad does go wrong, you can just save yourself. They actually have a lot of platforms.
This room is impossible. These platforms will only move up and down if there's two objects on them. So as you can see, like, you're trying to also avoid that frog on the top. But Tohloo got through that pretty easy.
That frog on the top of that last room is probably my least favorite enemy in the game.
Yeah.
Now Tohloo coming up on the last room of Lich Shard. A big, long, pretty scary looking room, but actually not that hard. Just time your burst properly and you'll get through the same way every time.
So this next boss is Spectre Knight. As you can see, you want to get through that. You want to time your burst correctly so you get on that top platform for positioning. Spectre is a little bit of RNG, whether like he teleports or not, kind of.
Yeah, he has one teleport right here. This teleport is RNG, what side he goes to, and Tohloo got good RNG. He went to the side that he wanted him to, the left side. So that was a really good fight.
A good Spectre fight is basically if you get him before he turns off the lights, or summons any of the skeleton's bone clients.
Yeah, unless you're doing the crazy kill that Breadpan found, that was pretty much the fastest way you could possibly kill him on Tohloo's end. Tohloo with the peep in the chat. He bought lob casing? I don't know why.
So, it's worth to mention, we don't buy any of the bomb upgrades. That's
upgrades.
Yeah. In any percent, basically, like, the best thing is just the default bombs, because any of the good bombs, you'll have to collect the green coins, cipher coins to unlock, and basically the ones worth using, you don't get them until, like, the second or third, tier of upgrades.
Yeah, even casually and in other categories, a majority of the bomb options are pretty much a downgrade from the default. Except, of course, there are exceptions, like the loadouts used for New Game Plus and at the end of 100%. But I don't know why Tohloo bought that stuff. He could be, like, just joking around, or... Well, he's definitely joking around, or possibly he made a mistake. And if it was a mistake, that could possibly come back to bite him when he's trying to buy things later in the run, but I don't think it will.
So this is the Explodatorium, and if you've played Shovel Knight's campaign or Spectres, this is where you fight Plague Knight, but we're Plague Knight, so who do we fight at the end? It's just a surprise.
That was a seriously impressive Alchemister kill from Tohloo.
I kind of missed that, but so this room, oh, he's taking it the safe way. You could actually, from the bottom screen, burst to that second ladder, but I guess we're just taking it the safe way. This level, you need to kind of manage your health. For a reason, coming up on this room, you want to be at 2 hearts or less, just to set up for the boss fight.
Yeah, we're about to put Shovel Knight into the crying corner. tantrum hole, whatever you want, tantrum trench, whatever you want to call
Pity
it.
pit.
So basically, to set this fight up, you just walk to the right and then spam bombs after he pogos you. It's relatively easy to set up, but if you don't mash hard enough, he can totally screw you over. But Tohloo got a good fight. I believe he got Icor skip. I wasn't looking exactly if he did or not.
He got Icor skip.
All right, nice. The bitch ditch. I like that one from Spectre.
No, you can't say those words.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oops.
Illegal on speed gaming.
I never heard that one before. So anyway, back to the run. Tohloo's going to be going up on Iron Whale.
Yeah, Iron Whale is the water level, which again, there's like water physics, so
Iron Whale is just kind of stereotypical water level. It's got a pretty interesting mini boss and a pretty easy boss fight at the end.
So these are tentacles. People call them eels, and
Nice
I have no
tentacle
idea
room from
why.
Tohloo.
Basically to get rid of them.
And here's an interesting little skip. If you properly time it, you can kill both of those tentacles before they go to a position where you can't hit them. So it's a nifty little skip.
This is what we call 420
And now
fish.
here is the Tethalon, also known as 420 fish by the fans. 420 fish just because he can go pretty high sometimes, which can be annoying. His movements are RNG. And Tohloo's just going to be trying to go in the corner and hit him a bunch with bombs.
Getting to puppyfan's screen real quick. Looks like she got through the Shovel Knight fight okay. Getting the Icor skip too.
So Puppy Fan coming out of the Shovel Knight fight. So Tohloo on Treasure Knight. He's got a pretty big hitbox, relatively easy fight, but he can sometimes do things that waste time, but you'll usually never die in that fight. Puppy Fan also in the Iron Whale stage, a bit behind Tohloo.
So Tohloo's coming up on Lost City, which we call there's a lot of names for this. Time Lost City.
So now Tohloo coming up on Lost City. The stage is kind of a lava underground stage. You fight Mole Knight at the end, and coming up here is the first beetle skip. And now you're supposed to ride on that beetle normally, and oh no, Tohloo kind of messed it up and died, but he's still got a good lead. So anyway, with this stage, you're normally supposed to ride on that beetle, but the beetle moves pretty slowly, so we just kind of ignore him. So Tohloo having a bit of trouble with this beetle skip here. He's gonna take it slow. So first beetle skip's out of the way. That's the main tricky trick of Lost City. Other than that, it's relatively smooth sailing from here. And so, Puppyfan is going to be coming up on the Treasure Knight fight.
Treasure Knight's not too hard. There's a little bit of RNG, but not a...
Oh yeah, and dying in the place where Tohloo died is a pretty bad place to die, and he died again. The time he died the first time is a pretty bad place to die because of the money bags. You have to recover those, and he's gonna have to recover these money bags here too. The next stage is the first purchase of the game, the Staff of Striking. So now here's the second beetle room. Same principle as the first, but a bit easier.
Coming up on Mole Knight, he's not too hard. Like, most of these bosses aren't super hard. But whether or not his altitude at which he comes at the second phase is kind of weird. Second phase. You want to get him before he digs back into the ground, because then it just wastes a whole lot of time. But Tohloo got a pretty good kill on him, so he's good.
Tohloo coming in the chat again. Very important message from Tohloo, fat fingers.
Yeah, every time you finish a level, you go back to Mana to drop off the essence you collected. And every time she asks you, hey, what are we doing today? So getting through that menu is, like, actually impossible.
And Puppyfan taking a similar death to Tohloo on Beetle Skip 1. And somehow Tohloo's still typing in chat. So, if I was talking over Pickles earlier, I apologize. There were some technical difficulties with Discord. I couldn't hear her, but everyone else could. So, that was cool.
Yeah, we're having audio issues today. So Tohloo's coming up on Flying Machine, which if you played this as Shovel and even Spectre, this level's really hard. As far as platforming goes, it's not that difficult for Plague. The boss though is another story. Here's where we'll be picking up the only Arcana, the Staff of Striking. This is kind of where a lot of the money management comes into play. Staff of Striking costs 9,000 gold. You could get it for less if you were to go through another room, find you find a chest that has the relic that's used in Shovel Knight stage, and if you give it to Chester, who sells you the Staff of Striking, you can just turn it in. But because we're not collecting that, because it takes a lot of time, they have to have 9,000 on hand for it, and that's a really good dinghy dropper kill.
So here Tohloo is going to be buying the Staff of Striking. It's a really overpowered weapon, especially with upgraded magic. I believe after Polar Knight stage, Tohloo will be upgrading it. He might do it earlier, but I doubt he will. I think his route does it after Polar. Some people upgrade after Propeller.
Oh yeah, so also the way Plague Knight's magic works, he regenerates magic after a while, but he does have a burnout phase. So if you were to use up all of your magic, you can't use any of it, and it comes back at a slower rate. As opposed to if, like, say you only depleted the bar halfway, then it still replenishes at a quicker rate than if you were to burn out the whole thing.
So Tohloo coming up on one of the trickier strats of Flying Machine is one cycling the wind tunnel. Let's see if he goes for it. He did go for it.
Okay.
That was tight. I thought that burst was going to be too late, actually, but he made it.
Wind tunnel is terrifying.
Oh yeah, that can be scary even if you aren't trying to go for the one cycle.
Oh,
If you burst too early, you hit the spikes on top. If you burst too late, then you waste a million years. It can be pretty tough.
So Tohloo's going into Propeller Knight with 1 health, and I think he'll be okay. Yeah, it was okay. Basically, you just kind of want to get Propeller Knight in the air with the staff. But if you don't know how to do it, Propeller Knight can be a really tricky fight.
So, Propeller Knight does deal a full heart of damage with each of his sword swipes, so that was why it was a bit dangerous for him to go into that fight with only 1 bubble. But the normal fight doesn't take damage unless you mess up, so he was confident in his abilities and just did it. And now here's the second time we fight this Heck Black Knight. And puppyfan looking for some health in Flying Machine, while Tohloo's going for an interesting stun lock here. He's going for the staff bomb stun lock, and he is not really doing it very successfully. The other stun lock you can do here is similar to the stun lock in the planes, where you just get him in the corner and bomb him a bunch of times.
Puppyfan looking is short on money. Oh, she can pick up some of the. Oh yeah, she should have enough for the staff.
Oh yeah, if she didn't pick up that those bags, then she would have been short on money. I would recommend her getting that one right there. Okay, she got it. She definitely has to upgrade after Polar. But I don't know if that is in her route already or not.
Oh yeah, I gotta mention Sad Mountain. Like where Polar Knight stage is, there's a face in the mountain, and I don't know why, like a couple nights ago, it became a meme. So, Sad Mountain. Speaking of sad things, this is Stranded Ship. Basically, Plague Knight goes at 60 miles per hour, and then you put him on ice. So you can see where this is going. It's kind of a tricky stage. There's like a lot of the enemies take off a lot of health. Ice physics, spikes. It's awful. Also ladder guys.
The ice is honestly not even the worst part, because a lot of times you're bursting over the ice, but it's also full of spikes and it's got some ladder stuff you gotta deal with. So that can be pretty frustrating. It's a perfect combination.
There's also these bird platforms that if you hit it, it like basically the birds on the thing barf and make a little rainbow bridge. We don't use that in Plague. It's kind of hard. They're more of a shovel thing.
I believe Plague Knight actually can't trigger the rainbow platforms at all. I think if you bomb them, no rainbows come out. You just have to use those as just regular platforms. So now puppyfan coming up on Propeller Knight. And Tohloo near the end of Stranded Ship. So we'll be seeing Polar Knight soon.
The room Tohloo's on is scary, but if you just burst through it accordingly, it's not super bad. Just there's a lot of spikes. This is Polar Knight, also known as Grandpa. He's a little bit scary only because he reveals spikes on the floor, which are insta-death, but generally we're not bomb bursting, but we're retaining iframes through all of it, so it's not a super big deal. think we've gotten game audio. Some faint game audio.
I am hearing the game audio, and I don't know if you just heard a million Discord disconnecting sounds or not, but my Discord is going kind of crazy.
Also, the chat's been jamming out to the Plague of Shadows OST for the past maybe like almost half hour at this point.
Oh, nice. Tohloo's stream is stalling, but I think that's for syncing reasons. Yes, it was for syncing, alright. So now the runners are synced up and fully.
So this is Clockwork Tower. It's a pretty straightforward level. There's two auto-scrollers. One of them is a pseudo auto-scroller that we'll talk about when we'll get there. It's a pretty cool skip. But yeah, there's cogs. There's nothing super notable to talk about.
Yeah, even the boss fight is relatively easy. You don't ever really see anyone die on the fight, despite it being 2 phases. You can see people waste a bunch of time, but no one really ever dies on that fight. So here we're coming up on the first, quote, auto-scroller. That's not really an auto-scroller at all. But normally you'd have to wait on that big platform there. But we don't like doing that, because that's slow. So we just damage boost off of a bunch of dudes, like so, and that lets us walk on spikes.
Usually you deboost off that gold armor after the skip over the big thing. But I don't think Tohloo got that, so I've never seen that skip done like that before. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, Azulag, our resident strat finder, has been finding a bunch of strats for that room for all the categories, and what Tohloo just did is one of the new ones, where you use a bomb to reverse yourself and stall yourself to hit the, I think it's called a fairy or a chompy, I forget which one's the official name.
It's technically a fairy, even though I will not believe that's a fairy.
Yeah, that ain't a fairy.
The ladder room that Puppyfan just got through is kind of scary. Just putting that out there. This is Tinker Knight. He's kind of the joke fight in at least Plague and Shovels, not Spectre, he's terrifying Spectre. The first phase is like, whatever. He takes a whole heart of damage. In Shovel, you'd usually just use the mobile gear, and he does in one hit. But then the second phase is the Tinker Tank. This is one of the reasons why we pick up the staff. You can kind of get him in the wall when the tank lunges forward, or lunges back. So, quick Tinker kill from Tohloo.
And now Puppyfan coming up on Stranded Ship's boss, Polar Knight. Basically just wanting to send him back and forth and not get hit by spikes. So now here's big long cutscene time of Plague Knight getting all the essences together. And now Puppyfan will be upgrading and buying extra tonics, which is a pretty good race strat.
So Tohloo is coming up on Tower 1, which is basically the tower stages at the end are like the game's taught you everything you need to know, so they're gonna put pretty much every single enemy minus some in the game, all the mechanics, and it's like the big test to see if you've learned anything in this game. This room is the pressure room. It's kind of scary. Basically, you just don't want to wait on these cycles, so there's a really scary skip that you're gonna do coming up here.
Yeah, the main challenging sections of this stage are the Crusher Skip, which is not as hard as it seems, but if you die, you can lose a ton of time. And then Black Knight 3 has some interesting stuff, to say the least. Most of the other rooms are relatively straightforward in this level, though.
That chandelier room that Tohloo had a little bit of trouble on, it's not that hard, but it's just kind of messy because both the Chompy and the Liquid Samurai there can totally body you.
Yeah, it's not really a hard room, but it's one of those rooms where it's hard to go fast.
So Tohloo took the bottom route on that screen before the checkpoint there. Bottom route is scarier, but it's quicker. But top route is also okay, just a little bit slower, but safer.
Bottom route there actually requires you to take damage and use your invincibility frames for walking on those spikes, like in the Clockwork Tower auto-scroller. And Tohloo opting to heal before Black Knight, which is pretty understandable.
The Black Knight 3 fight, basically, Black Knight had a Red Bull, so now he has wings. Also, he does this teleport stuff that wastes everyone's time.
You're totally getting a mini stun lock on him. That was pretty cool.
And a really quick kill.
Yo, that was interesting. So normally you want to kill Black Knight on the right side of the screen, so that when he gets wings and allows you to hit him with staff, because then Plague Knight has to walk towards that door right there. So normally you want to kill him on the right side, so you fall on the right side, and you don't have to watch him walk all the way across the screen. But Tohloo killed him on the left side anyway, and then managed to burst while the boss was dying over to the right side, which was pretty impressive. So now this is Tower 2, pretty short level, but has the longest fight in the end, which is all of the fights, and Tohloo just died, which is not good, but he's still got a pretty big lead. And now puppyfan with the Tinker kill will be moving on to Tower 1 pretty soon. Double death from Tohloo in the same room. Again, still gonna keep the lead. Still a full level ahead of puppyfan, but that is some time lost.
To be fair, water physics with Plague, it's kind of weird because again, a lot of your mobility is with jumping. So yeah, this room always makes me nervous when I go through it anyway. So coming up is the Mario Maker room or the Slime Rancher room, because there's slimes in all the blocks. There's so many slimes. This next room, basically you're just gonna go across the top. If you were to go through all of that, you don't want to go through all of that because there's fire and there's hover minis that'll just body you and push you all around. So the fact that we can go over the top is really nice.
Shovelman usually needs to do a bunch of shenanigans with rainbow platforms from Polar Knight stage, but Plague Knight just bursts right through it.
So it looks like Tohloo's taking some damage during this auto-scroller, because, spoilers, at the end of the boss rush is Shovel Knight, and as within the Explodatorium, you're also going to want to be at like 2 health or less for that. But another big thing with the boss rush that kind of makes setting that up tricky, after you beat each boss, a dinner plate will appear with the chicken under it. And sometimes you'll accidentally open the dinner plate and you'll fall into the chicken. basically ruining all of that sweet damage management that you spent like what 3 nights prepping for.
I assume you mean 3 nights with a K.
Yes, three nights with K.
Puppyfan taking a death in Tower 1, but that death isn't too bad. Checkpoint's right there. Ooh, almost saved it again, but died in the same way. That's unfortunate. So on Tohloo's screen, we're just going to be seeing every single boss, but again, with the added challenge of trying not to take too much damage that you need to heal, but also trying to not take any of the chickens accidentally, because they are actually really easy to fall into. And again, that is also Shovel Knight doesn't have an opportunity to use his phase locket, because the game is programmed so that when Shovel Knight has 2 health, you are at 2 health levels or less, Shovel Knight can't use the phase locket, which is required for the stun lock.
Also, Polar Knight will show up within the first 3 nights. The order of the order is random, but Polar Knight will always show up within the first 3 because he summons the spike ground, and it just, the devs thought it wouldn't be fair if you got through, like, say, almost the entire boss rush and you died to Polar Knight.
Yeah, it's pretty smart of them to have the one-hit kill guy not at the very end, guaranteed. So it is normally completely random, but the 2 parameters are Shovel's always last, and Polar is within the first 3. So Puppyfan on Black Knight having a bit of trouble, but it's okay because you can kill him really hard here when he goes up to the sky and waits. Nice mole kill from Tohloo, and now it is Treasure Knight, and he's going to be trying to take some purposeful damage in this fight rather than kill him as fast as possible. Or not? I don't know why he didn't try and take damage there. Oh, I guess he's doing the damage in the fight. This is looking pretty scary. Okay, he used the tonic. That was going to be really bad if he didn't use the tonic. He has 4 tonics left, and he's got the lockdown now. That was almost really scary, but good save from Tohloo pulling out that tonic. And now Puppyfan is approaching the final auto-scroller of Tower 2, right before the boss rush.
So coming up is the final boss, Enchantress. Well, technically not the final boss. There's 3 bosses. But first is the tile room, which also known as the Tower of Hera room. Basically, these tiles will come at you, and you just kind of have to avoid them. It's a little easy to choke on this room, but it's not a super hard room.
So coming up now on Tohloo's screen is the Enchantress, who, in my opinion, is the hardest boss in the game, by a long shot. You can fall in pits, she can waste a lot of time by stalling on the bottom of the screen, The entire platform is destructible. So it's just pretty scary, especially when you're trying to kill her fast, because you have to go under the platform you fight her on and hit her with the staff.
Yeah, basically at this stage, Tohloo's in a good place to do it. Before she does her dives, you want to get enough damage in so you can go under the stage and just staff her that way. But it was a little bit short on damage, didn't set that up quite right.
Another scary thing about that fight is if you don't deal quite enough damage before she goes under the stage, then you basically just can't go under the stage. But if you don't deal enough damage before her dives, then the dives can be tense, because you gotta deal as much damage as you can during the dives, but the dives are completely random, so sometimes she'll just dive right into you, and sometimes she'll dive all the way across the screen 4 times and ruin your PB pace.
That was a good, but kind of a scary Enchantress kill. Second try. Coming up is the Plague of Shadows, which there's a very dumb way to do this fight, but puppyfan might do it depending, so I'm not gonna spoil it until she gets to it. Basically this fight is just like Shovel Knight's Plague fight, but a little bit different. The screen scrolls down as blocks are breaking because basically both of you are going to be breaking the ground a whole bunch.
The blocks actually go down infinitely, and then the screen scrolls with you rather than there being a limit like in Shovel's fight. And now here is the legendary 3-cycle himself, I mean Corrupted Essence. This fight's basically just the big bird. It's Big Plague Knight. And you gotta hit his little pink gummy thing a bunch of times so that he opens his mouth and lets you hit his weak spot. And if you can do that in 2 tries, killing him, then that is a good fight. If you need more than that, then that is a legendary 3-cycle, or 4-cycle, or 5-cycle. And Tohloo's gonna get the 3-cycle by 1 hit. So Tohloo will be the winner with the 42-39. And now puppyfan is in boss rush still.
You can actually get, I think, like a 1.5-ish cycle on Corrupted Essence, but it's really hard. Basically at the start of that fight, when the Essence opens its mouth for a little bit, and it spits out what I've been calling chickenpox for lack of any better term. You can't hit it, but it's a little bit random because you don't know if it'll spit the stuff up or down, and you want it to spit down, I think. You can get it in, but it's just kind of weird and really hard to get.
Yeah, to kill the Corrupted Essence in less than 2 cycles is pretty challenging because it actually relies on RNG, like which attack it decides to do or not. And then also the fact that you can just get hit and totally wrecked, and then going for the 1.5 cycle quote would actually just be slower than going for a 2 cycle. So usually they just kind of go for the 2 cycle. And I don't know which projectile you were referring to chickenpox as, but I know I like to call one of the projectiles looks kind of like broccoli, so I just call it like broccoli.
Yeah, the broccoli. They're like little bird heads.
I never actually like noticed what they were. I just saw that they were green things coming towards me, and I'm just like, oh, broccoli.
Broccoli's a good name too.
So puppyfan not going for the stun lock on Shovel Knight, so gonna be getting a slower fight. And it's understandable not to go for the stun lock because it is pretty hard, especially with all the health management and stuff. So when you're at a lower level of playing this game, not going for the stun lock is respectable. And now Puppyfan will be going into the last level, Tower 3, fighting the Enchantress, Plague of Shadows, and Corrupted Essence, just like we saw Tohloo do a couple minutes ago.
Also, I think we forgot to mention it when Tohloo went through it. After this room, the dark room, sort of dark room, you can't see things, where the platforms rise up under you. Usually that's not really a problem. You can just burst right over it. But it does look scary, because you don't know where the blocks are coming up from. I mean, you do, but it's just a weird room.
Yeah, normally if you just burst through it at the same time every single way, you'll be saved by it the same way Puppyfan just did. So now here's the Enchantress, and I assume we'll be seeing a slightly slower kill from Puppyfan, not trying to go under the stage like a madman, like Tohloo did. Oh yeah, she's trying to hit the Enchantress while she's under there through the blocks, which is a pretty good strat, but also really hard to actually hit her.
Yeah, the next best thing is to just kind of like open up little holes or gaps in the floor, just kind of try to snipe her through there.
And now the Enchantress is dead, and I don't know if we'll see the funny kill from Puppyfan on Plague of Shadows, but we might. Okay, so Puppyfan is going for the funny kill. In this fight, if you just stand there, the Plague of Shadows won't actually hit you, and then he just dies. It's pretty great. And it's pretty amusing to see the lengths he'll go to not hit you.
Yeah, this is called the check Twitter strat. Again, it's slower, but it's at least consistent, so... I was hoping someone was gonna go through for it in this tournament.
Yeah, he just gives up after he realizes he can't hit you. Spoiler, that's not actually why, but just go with it.
Oh my god.
Okay, that attack right there is the attack where you would go for the 1.5 cycle, where the Corrupted Essence opens his mouth. But again, it's really hard because of the broccoli slash chicken pox slash whatever you want to call them that are coming out of his mouth. And we're going to be seeing another Legendary 2 cycle. 2 in 1 match. Excellent.
To be honest, I don't know who discovered that strat first. I just kind of found it on Tumblr, and then I started using it in my runs.
$49.57 from Puppyfan. That little close away from sub 50. But a good run for both players.
Still, both runners did a very good job. So, GG to both of them.
And we will see if Puppyfan or Tohloo want to hop into the voice chat and say stuff about the race. Hello, in the stream with us right now is Puppyfan.
That was a run, it sure was.
Tohloo says he will not be joining us. So what did you think of that run?
I really started off strong with the death in planes. And the thing is, I PB'd by 2 minutes, literally 20 minutes before the race started. If I didn't, I would have been on PB pace through Plague of Shadows. So that would have been pretty stressful.
Yeah, PBing right before a race is kind of cursed.
So it's all good. I did the Easter egg kill, so, and I got the 4 cycle. Everything's perfect.
Thank you for doing that kill. Oh my god.
The mythical 4 cycle, though.
I live for the crowd.
That fight is stupid. Both fights.
Even with the AFK kill, I still only lost 8 seconds to my PB kill. And I do have to go pack, though. I'm going out of town tomorrow morning, so...
Okay,
good race, Tohloo. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, good job to both of the runners. Let's see the schedule. I think there's like 3 plague matches tomorrow. Let me go bring that up real quick. So, assuming that the schedule is up to date, tomorrow at, we have, sorry, these times are all out of order. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. will be, VB versus Das Boss Falco. And then again at 7 p.m. will be Explode Your Ear versus Munchakoopas. And then at 8, right after that, I don't know if it's on the same Speed Gaming channel, Pika Pete versus Lance. So, yeah, tune in for those. I'm probably gonna be commentating 2 of those back to back, so yeah. So, Pete, do you have anything else to add?
Good race from both runners, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow in the stream. I believe at 8 for my match with Lance. So that'll be pretty cool too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna sign off and I can get ready for the next match of Speed Gaming. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Yes, thanks for watching.